Hi, my name is Lydia Segrist, and I want to take the time to welcome you to stage number 2 of UBD, which is Understanding by Design. UBD was created by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTighe. UBD focuses on helping students come to an understanding of the important ideas of a course and to be able to transfer their learning to new situations. UBD is broken down into 3 stages, and for the purpose of today's video, we will discuss stage number 2 of the UBD template. The stage number 2 focuses on evidence of learning by using assessments. These assessments will help students prove their mastery of the content and their level of understanding to us. Wiggins and McTighe state that it is vital when we're designing assessments that we do it with the goal of transfer in mind. Now, transfer is all about understanding, and they say that there are 6 facets to understanding. So I want you to think about this as we get into the next part of the template because we are going to talk about what ways we can use to assess the students. So the first facet is, can the students explain? Which means, can they make connections, draw inferences, and even express content and ideas in their own words, and then give support for their thinking? The second facet is, can students interpret? Can they make sense of and even provide dimension and idea and data to the content, and can they make it personal or accessible? And students can use images or even stories to be able to show us how they can interpret. Next, the next facet is, can students apply and adjust? Can they use what they have learned in varied and unique situations, and can they go beyond the content of the classroom onto new situations, new courses, and even maybe something that goes beyond school? The fourth facet is having perspective. Can students see the big picture? Are they aware of, or even can they consider other people's viewpoints? And are they able to recognize their own biases? The fifth facet is showing empathy. Can they walk in another person's shoes? Can they find potential value in what others might add to the class? And, even can they find value in something that's implausible or odd or foreign to them? And finally, the last facet is having self knowledge. And having self knowledge really shows us the students' metacognition awareness, and it helps them to be able to reflect on their learning. So, this is where they can do their own self assessments. So, as we get in to the first portion of stage number 2, this is the element where we are going to actually design the assessments for the students. Based tasks, and these are assessments where students can have flexibility, and we are really going to draw upon their higher order thinking and those critical thinking skills that we want them to have. When we think about performance based tasks, we want to think about stage number 1 and go back to those competencies and standards that we used. And we're going to put those codes in here, and that's going to be the foundation for being able to build the assessments. Now, performance tasks are, how will students demonstrate their understanding? Will it be through a complex performance, or will students show that they really know something by being able to give evidence for it? A good example of a performance based task is having to do with a history class. Can students give an oral presentation on the historical events of a particular time period, and can they do that using primary resources and even write a historical biography? It goes beyond just a regular quiz, but it has them draw upon their prior knowledge and the knowledge that they've gained from the course. Once we've picked that performance based task, that assessment for the students, then it's important for us to decide the evaluation criteria. What criteria will be used in each assessment to evaluate the desired results? Regardless of the format of the assessment, what qualities are the most important? And then this is the area where you will come up with several ways to assess the students. So you'll find your code, you'll find the assessment, and then you will decide what do you find important for them to know. The next section is about other evidence. And here is where you're going to place the skills, standards, and other goals that maybe aren't otherwise assessed by performance-based tasks. And so that means that you're still going to use those competencies in your desired codes because you're going to use all the goals that you had set for them, and the skills and knowledge and meaning. You're still going to use those, but other evidence could be you use a quiz or a test or have them do homework or a journal entry. You're going to find ways where students can demonstrate their achievement of the desired results. So in this section of other evidence, I might have the students do a quiz, and instead of giving them maybe a multiple choice quiz as a way to assess them, maybe I'll do it short answer. That way, whatever level of understanding that they know, I'll really be able to see, and it's not just it's not just rote memorization. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go from the other evidence to the other evidence evaluation criteria. What criteria will be used in each assessment to evaluate the student, regardless of the format of the assessment? What qualities are the most important? So those two things will translate into this section. And again, I'm going to find more than just a quiz. I'm going to find other ways to be able to test the kids. And then finally, I have a grading rubric. And the grading rubric is important because it's going to go back to those performance-based tasks. I'm going to pick one of my critical assessments, and then I'm going to develop the rubric that will be used to evaluate it. In the rubric, you should list the criterion that you will be using to evaluate the assessment, the levels that you will use, and a description for each level of criterion. So as you can see, you're going to have criterion. It could be anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6. You want to keep it kind of simple as far as how many, because the criterion are really the important elements of the assessment that you're trying to test the students on. As you can see, that goes in the columns, and then the rows, there's exemplary. You're going to explain in that area what it would mean to get the highest level of points to reach the results that you want. So you might have X, Y, Z, and everything in that. That's going to be the highest level of points for the students. The next column is sufficient. There are some exemplary things in there, but there's something that's missing. So you're going to give the students explanation on that. And then the next column is needs revision. There's going to be a few things on there that's okay, but you missed some of the important elements that I was asking for. And then finally, there's no evidence. So that column would be where you would explain to students what is expected of them, that they would be able to see. If I don't give support for what I'm talking about, then I'm not going to get any points for that section. So grading rubrics are a great way to be able to really show students what our level of expectation for them are. Hi guys! Again, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for stage 2 of the UBD design by Ty and Wiggins. The biggest part for stage 2 that I want you to remember, the takeaway for this section, is it's all about evaluating our students. And it's not just the right or wrong answers, but answers or ways that we can assess them that gets them to truly think outside of the box. It gets them to tap into those critical thinking skills and the deeper level processes of Bloom's, where they're going to analyze, create, and that really performance-based. And we can do that by the use of rubrics, which I find are a great tool. Many students love them because they say that it allows them to be able to truly understand the criteria that's set up for their assessment. And it has more than one criteria, so it's not an all or nothing sort of thing. It gives them a great opportunity to know what it is that they need to do for the assignment, But not only that, once the assignment is finished, then they receive feedback from us, and they can take that feedback because it's very much designed to allow them to see the elements that they can improve on, and they can take that feedback, make corrections, and improve their grade, but also just improve their knowledge skill because you're allowing them a second opportunity to have access to the material. So it gives them a chance to review and revise and even synthesize the assignment further. So that is all for stage 2. I look forward to seeing you for stage 3.